What's good, people, and welcome along to my latest video. Now, as I mentioned in my last one, I will be taking you back to Bridgnorth, the location of my first few videos, which if you check out, hopefully you'll see how far I've come in the last 6 months. Now, this is a place I've actually filmed at the same time as the others, but due to my hard drive mishap, I lost the footage and it's actually taken me a while to return. But if you do get the chance, I really do advise taking a trip to Bridgnorth, as it's a beautiful place and very steeped in history. Now, my focus today is a place just outside of the town on the opposite side of the River Severn, nestled in the hills. A place you could easily drive past every day and not know about it. And yeah, the LiDAR doesn't appear to show much in this instance, but my local knowledge of the area helped a great deal. And if we have a look at the old OS maps as well, it does show what we will be looking at today. The Hermitage. A pretty awesome place, so stick around to see for yourselves. Something called the Queen's Parlour close by as well, which also refers to a mythical monarch akin to the fairy world. And here's an old picture of what the place once looked like. Some info here seems to suggest that the caves were attached to a King Alfred's grandson, and after doing a little bit of digging, it appears he lived 1,000 years ago. So this could really be an old place if there's any truth to it, and it would be one of, if not the oldest I've seen, if the narrative is anything to go by. And yeah, we're also going to gloss over the 700-year gap between the first inhabitant and hermits from the reign of King Edward III. Yeah, it also mentions a tunnel which supposedly ran under the river from the Hermitage to the old priory, almost 900 metres away, although they say it's never been proven. Now, even if it was there, I doubt very much they would tell us of its actual existence. So without further delay, let's get to the footage of this pretty awesome place. Now, as you can see, this place is fenced off, but this time it is due to safety, as a young lad actually lost his life here just over 10 years ago. Now, from what I can remember, there was a party, and after it had finished, people fell asleep without putting out a fire, which actually resulted in a rockfall, unfortunately crushing the young lad to death. Now, RIP to the young fella, but just goes to show that these places aren't playgrounds and need to be respected, like I've said previously. Now, also notice no clickbait with pictures of the police or the place taped off or anything like that either. But yeah, Paige made a very good point about not fully believing it, because they would have used fires back in the day, especially if it's 1,000 years old. But my counter to that is people back in the day would have been a lot more respectable of the place, known of the risks, and probably only done control fires in certain areas, unlike the youth of this millennium, whose only interest would have been getting wasted with no regard for anything else. Whilst I've been yapping, hopefully you've been watching the footage. The two different layers clearly visible, the sandstone at the bottom and the aggregate looking layer above. Now, I used to think it was poured concrete, but I'm not convinced of that anymore. It just doesn't add up. It doesn't make any sense to me either. It's more of an accumulation of soil, rocks and the type over a number of years. That is just my view though, and I do welcome each of yours. So yeah, this is the chapel part of the place, which I believe goes down even further, which hopefully I will be showing you shortly. When you see the other side of the arch, you should understand why I think this. And I'm not too sure here if this black stuff is the original skin, or if it's just fire damage or not. We then come to one of my favourite parts of this place. A carved stairwell leading to, you'll see for yourselves in a minute. Absolutely nowhere. Yeah, go figure. Makes me think that there was more levels here at one time. I mean, why else would you have a stairwell to nowhere? I'm back downstairs now, and hopefully you can make out where a door frame once sat perhaps. Onto why I think this place goes down further than what it appears. So this is me actually walking around where that archway is and into the next part. And you should see for yourselves as I walk around and I turn around back to the arch. So yeah, the top of the arch is now at my eye level, and hopefully you can see all the earth that has accumulated to make the arch appear to just be a small opening. Well, that's the impression I get of it anyway. And yeah, I really do say this a lot, but I really would have loved to have seen these places in the prime. To see how they were constructed as well, it'd just be awesome. And it would also answer a lot of questions that we have. And also put some crazy theories to bed as well. So let's carry on because there is still quite a lot to be showing you guys. Now there's a lot more damage to this area compared to what I've shown you previously. Is that due to nature and it being around for 1,000 years, or man-made destruction? I'll let you guys decide for yourselves. Now, I'm not really able to make out what this could have been due to the damage, but a room of some sorts I would have guessed. Paige also come across this, whatever this is or was, I'm not too sure. An old carving perhaps? It might explain all the damage in this area. Now the rest has been quite tidy, and then we get to this. Maybe it's part of old artwork that mostly got destroyed with just this small piece remaining. Makes sense to me. What about you guys? And yeah, it's only just dawned on me as well, hence me not looking further at the time. But yeah, I'll definitely be going back to have a better look in the near future. On to the next section now, which is outside of the fence bit. And it It does actually appear to be a level down from the Hermitage itself, and more modern looking as well, if that's the right way to describe it. It's a lot more uniform here, and signs of buildings all over, maybe where the old picture at the beginning was taken from, and a lot of what looks like modern render, different to other places I've seen with a skin looking like render, if that makes any sense to you at all. A lot thicker, smoother, and yeah, just a lot more modern looking to me. Definitely a different time period between this and the Hermitages as far as I'm concerned. Again, signs to me it goes down even further here with the archway half buried. A close up here of the render, hopefully you can see what I mean, how it appears different from other renders I've shown previously. And signs of holes for wooden beam supports here, with an opening covered off if you can see it. If not, keep watching and I'll show you shortly. And the remains here of what appear to be a wall, and what nature can do over a period of time. Now it won't be long before it just looks like a bush. So guys, remember that next time you go out for a walk. Now hopefully you can see here the apex groove in the sandstone for what I would think housed the roof in a former lifetime. More proof to me that this section was a lot more modern, designed by someone who wanted the comforts in life, as opposed to being content with a hole carved into the sandstone. And also what appears to be the signs of a staircase of some sorts here. So I did briefly mention what appears to be openings that have been blocked off. So let's have a look at these and you can make your own minds up here. Now it's clear and obvious openings to me, with what looks like rubble filling said openings. Now I don't know if they go down very far, but yeah, from what I can see, there's clearly openings blocked up here. And it's not the only one here either. I think there's at least 4 or 5 different openings like this. Might this place extend further into the hillside, into like the rocks? Might one of these openings even lead to the tunnel that's mentioned that leads under the river? Either way, it's yet another place steeped in history, and just like most of the other places, it's being left to rot and ruin. Why? Why aren't these places being preserved and showcased? How many of you would know about these places if it weren't for people like me? And that's not me trying to blow my own horn or nothing either. It's just, I don't see these places being shown on the History Channel and the like. Now for a place that's said to be over 1,000 years old and still standing, I fail to see how and why this isn't a national treasure. Or is it because, quite simply put, it doesn't fit with their narrative? I did also put it out there about doing a meetup at Kimber, and I've had a little bit of interest, so I do intend on going forward with it. Now anybody wanting to come along, please reach out to me if you haven't done so already, just so I know the exact numbers, and if we're going to be doing it for a day or a weekend or something like that. So then I also know if we need to hire a minibus, or like I say, arrange something to do camping overnight, depending on the numbers. And yeah, I really do think it'll be an awesome day or two out, and it'd be nice to hear other people's views on the area, because like I say, it's one thing seeing it in person. It's totally different, like with pictures and videos and whatever. If you don't believe me, ask my mate Dan. He was in awe of the place when he actually got to see the place in person. So yeah, it'd also be nice to learn a thing or two in the process from some of you guys. As always, I've been Nicky B, and until next time.